Count us 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. What is the number one reason that our viewers say the crime scene in Moscow, Idaho should never have been torn down?
We may cover the Karen Reed case and the Kohberger case, but that doesn't mean that there isn't more to say. I'm Lainey Law.
And I'm attorney Andrew Myers.
And today we're going to be looking and seeing what our viewers have had to say with these two cases that have had widespread media attention. If you're new to this channel, these are topics that we cover very frequently, especially as new updates come out. And today we're going to be looking at what our viewers have had to say about all of this. So
this is our feature that we have. We don't do it every week, but we do it frequently enough, and we call it the top 10 pithy views of the week. And the funny thing is, a lot of creators that I see out there on YouTube, and by the way, commenters that tell me, see this, watch this, see what this person. We do. We watch them all. And the thing that makes us different is they just go on and on and on as long as like for 3 hours and 45 minutes. No, rather than, bloviating, we actually read your comments and we value your comments and we try to get back to as many as possible. And we have this feature we're doing now where we look at the top 10 comments. So I find it interesting to read what people are actually thinking.
Yeah, and starting with today's comment number 10 from Eric Michaels. We have 9693. How are the McAlberts in fear from rubber ducks, but Voss isn't being harassed or in fear? And I think that is a great point. In one of our previous videos, we talked about the reporter and how the court decided that because they hadn't updated a statement saying that they were in fear or continuing to be harassed after their initial statement, that surely it's not an issue anymore. But the ducks are very menacing if you see that one right there.
Yeah, the Canton, Massachusetts Police Department had to do a 37-page police report on how the witnesses in the Karen Reed case were in fear for these little yellow rubber duckies. And it's just, so that was a good comment. That was a good comment.
Yeah,
really.
And I think it kind of highlights also a big difference. And one of the struggles that people are experiencing with this is that it feels like there's bias. It feels like rules for thee, but not for me. Why is it that these ducks are warranting of, multi-page police reports? But this news reporter is saying, had previously said that they were in fear. And when they brought it up again, well, you didn't put it on, you didn't make an official statement about it. And that's not really fair. And
it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It seems, in our opinion, it's a little ridiculous.
Okay, so who, if anyone, that's actually somebody's handle, who, if anyone, well, y'all are up to 10,000. Yes, that's happened since the last episode. We got our 10,000th subscriber, and thank you.
Andrew will not be eating a tree.
No, we're a little channel, so make fun of us all you want, but it's a big benchmark for us, and we're on to 100,000. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe 20,000 first.
100,000. Congratulations. You have a great channel. I love it, and I stay the entire time because you keep me interested the entire show. I wouldn't mind a longer show from you, or maybe you can do a live show. That would be awesome. Well, the difference between us and some other people is we both have full-time gigs. We're not just out here trying to shill here in this channel. I practice law full-time. You do the things you do full-time. And so it's all we can do to eke out a few minutes to do a brief podcast. And the other thing is 3 hours.
I will say maybe not a 3-hour live stream, but coming into the new year, we did film one behind the scenes. It's not going to be out when you're watching this video, but we're going to be doing probably one monthly, very, 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 very short behind the scenes video. And maybe in the coming year, maybe we'll do once a month live streams, if the people want it, because a lot of people have said, I know you have to keep pushing Andrew, maybe what kind of emoji can we leave to peer pressure Andrew?
No.
Is there computer emoji?
No.
Spam computer emojis to peer pressure Andrew into a once a month live stream.
The live streams, we've done a couple of them, and it says, I don't know, we'll do more. Sure, we'll do more. You don't have to pressure me. But it just takes so much time and effort to promote it in advance and do all the graphics and get ready. And sometimes I think other things like the shorts. We're in the process of releasing some shorts now, which are more entertaining, and I think people like them.
Yeah, definitely be sure to check out our shorts tab. If you haven't checked out our shorts, Andrew does put a lot of work into them. All right. So LHR 8833, I think saying the state cannot prepare for trial without the reporter's notes is gold. If hearsay and attacking the credibility of the defendant is what is keeping your case alive, then then you don't have a case. Why is it the trial depending on evidence? And I think yeah.
Let me answer that. It is,
Mhm.
I know we'll get some comments about this, but legally, anytime a witness is on the stand, their credibility is an issue. And a statement against interest or a statement by the opposing party or both go around hearsay. So they go around the hearsay rule, and they are absolutely evidence, whether we like it or not. Those are the evidentiary rules. Now, there's a brilliant defense team here with now, I think, 4 lawyers, and that they know how to deal with that. So a statement of a party opponent, which for the prosecution, the defendant would fit that category, that is a valid exception to the hearsay rule, or under some rules, actually non-hearsay. So it is evidence. Hate to say it, send me all the hate you want, but that's the law.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree that it may be evidence, but I think that it's silly to say that they can't prepare for the trial without the notes, but it's not like the first trial didn't happen without these notes.
Yeah, but they lost.
Yeah,
They didn't lose. They didn't get their conviction. They didn't lose it. But it is kind of odd. If you're a prosecutor and you're going for 3 counts, you want a conviction on at least one, and they didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So what's the next one? Number 7 is from Frigid. So 2 Boston reporters had what amounted to a confession from Karen Reed, according to the prosecution, and they sat on it. They didn't sensationalize the heck out of a few words like they normally do. The media has not been kind to Karen Reed. If there was anything there, they would have used it. And that absolutely, I couldn't agree more with Frigid because, as I've said before, I used to be in the media, and you are always looking for an exclusive. You are always looking for a groundbreaker. You are always looking for that, big, huge scoop. And absolutely, if Karen Reed had made a confession, they would have been all over it and we would have heard about it. So I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of, and I think the feeling a lot of people have is that the media hasn't really been portraying Karen Reed in the best way, and that if they did have anything, wouldn't they want to have shared it already? So
absolutely, yep.
Yeah. All right. So from Telemark to Malo 6978, you should rename your channel. We have decided Karen is innocent. I don't know why folks don't want the facts to be exposed on both sides. And then from AJK 2009, this is Corruption Watch, the 2 ARCCA experts hired by the FBI investigation of DA Morrissey's office both testified in the witness box that John O'Keefe did not die by Lexus. So, and this is a great representation of our comment section. All the time people are saying that we're biased against her, we're biased towards her, so this is pretty funny to see.
Yeah, I like the juxtaposition of those two because we haven't decided that anybody's guilty or innocent. Everybody's entitled to a presumption of innocence until they're found otherwise by a jury of their peers. And that has not happened in this case. It just hasn't happened. So, yes, we presume she's innocent. Mm-hmm. So, and there's our old friend, Yuri Buchanan down in the corner with a bag. And at first I thought that was a Stop and Shop bag, but no, it's an evidence bag. I forget exactly what. That's the evidence bag that had the different pieces of the alleged taillight. And he kept pulling more and I don't think we ever got to the bottom of how many pieces were in there, 34, something like that. But he kept pulling them out. And then the defense team came up and they looked in there and there was some more in there. So
It's like actually kind of a crazy amount of glass for a single impact. I mean, I'm not a vehicle reconstruction expert, but you would think that if you hit glass, that it'd be kind of a couple just giant chunks. I don't know.
Well, it was plastic, and it was
Yeah.
kind of suspicious as to, I'm not going to say they did do it, but it was kind of suspicious that they were lurking there in the back corner of the inverted video where that tail light would have been. And there are allegations that they took a mallet and broke it. And, I don't know. I really don't know. So the next thing is that, yes, the world is watching this case. We added a couple of new countries this week to the These are countries from which we have received actual comments to our little channel.
Yeah, and some of these countries are Denmark, Israel, Indonesia, Slovenia, Sweden, Australia, and New Zealand.
Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Norway, South Africa, Ghana, India, Brazil.
And England, Netherlands, Germany, Spain, Canada, Mexico, Thailand, USA, Puerto Rico, and Guam.
So that's a lot of countries for a little channel like us, and we have 10,000. We are mighty. And if we've received comments from those countries, I think that says something. And yes, it does mean that the world is watching this. So we've put this slide up the last couple of episodes. I'm not going to put it up anymore unless we get new countries. So if you're from a country that's not on this list, let me know in the comments and we'll verify it and then we'll put it back up. But yeah, we're going to retire this slide this time.
Yeah, and I think that you made a really important point with, like, we're just a tiny channel and this is just the comments that we've gotten. So I think, if we're even getting like 1% of like any of the views, any of the eyes that are on this, just like it's the whole world. It's just, we're such a small fraction of the media that's talking about this. This is stuff that's on the news. This is all the big, outlets are talking about this. So very big and crazy case. Now we have slide number 5. Andrew, you want to take this?
This is from Forever in My Head. I love these names. Bundy's lawyer may not like Ann's style, but her defense work is solid and diligent. I'll agree with that. Maybe he prefers the histrionic type, i.e. Bill Thompson, but the jury won't buy dramatics over facts and solid arguments delivered calmly. And that's a picture of Attorney Brown in the lower right-hand corner there. Yeah, I would pretty much agree with this. I don't like disparaging anyone, but I agree with this. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, there's so many different types of people and so many different types of ways that a case can be handled and presented. And at the end of the day, people are just trying to do the best to do their job, usually, even if you may not agree with their tactics. All right, so this one is for AZRs, AZRR3s. Those who believe in BK's guilt, let me make this a little bit bigger on my end. Those who believe in BK's guilt, no, I just zoomed in, have started his motive was to see if he could get away with the perfect murder. If so, then Bundy's lawyer is right. BK would probably have considered the implications of his crime in the state of which he chose to commit the M's. I don't see how these two cases can be compared, though, especially with regard to defense tactics. Bundy was a serial killer who left teeth marks on a victim. It was pretty straightforward. The defense in his case would simply need a Hail Mary to help him. With BK, we have no solid evidence, no pattern of criminal behavior, and LD is full of secrecy and illogical explanations, not even apples and oranges. And they do have a valid point, and I think that's why this case is so controversial for a lot of people, where from what we've seen as the general public, we haven't really seen anything that's full concrete evidence. And a lot of the times when people say that there is full concrete evidence, they're talking about the millions of rabbit holes and conspiracy theories on YouTube.
One of the big differences between the two cases was back in Bundy's era in the 80s. We didn't have the forensic advances that we have now. And I'm wondering if we had he have done some of the outrageous, horrific things that he did, because, one of the more obvious is cameras everywhere. I mean, he would go to Snohomish State Park and other state parks out in Washington State and just pick up women and do what he did. Now there's cameras everywhere. And so I don't think he would have gotten away with anywhere near what he did today, and done some of the pieces of evidence. And those of you who have read The Stranger Beside Me, Ann Rule's great book, or other books about the case, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And we're not going to go into it. Oh, what I was going to say is, this has kind of renewed my interest in the Bundy case. I did read several different books on it and followed it, some of the documentaries. So if people want us to do a brief, not a full episode, but a brief, rundown of what happened in that case, let us know in the comment section. And I would say we should do it, shouldn't you?
I agree. What kind of emoji? I was gonna make a joke and say to do a knife emoji, but let's not do that.
No,
A thumbs up
Let's
emoji.
Just give us a comment down in the comment section
or a
and
book.
say, yeah, you would like to.
Something
You would like
peaceful.
to. Yeah, just say you'd like us to
let us
do it,
know
and
if
we
it's
will.
something that you would watch and be interested. Because a lot of the times too, and it's not going to be on this video, but on our Google video, we did see a commenter mention that they appreciate when we talk about other topics. We are interested in talking about other topics, but we also want to make sure that the video gets to people. And I think if we do something different, YouTube's algorithm doesn't really like it when we change topics. So if you would watch the video, please let us know because it helps motivate us.
Yeah, because I was already with the Green Mountain Killer. I had done a lot of research. I'd pulled up a lot of graphics, and I was all ready to do the Green Mountain Killer. And then we had that experience with Ashley Benefield where we did a whole episode on her, and we tanked. It just went. So we have to do what you want. So you give us your ideas, and we'll
spend like hours like working on a video, and then it's kind of a bummer when like the algorithm doesn't bring it really over 1,000 views or even under 500 like the Google was. So
there is still a slight chance that case will have to be retried. So we'll revisit it. Okay. KC Western. Are you kidding me? The area of Moscow and Pullman, despite its two colleges, is quite insular and clannish. I've not been to Boise yet. I have heard things. The whole state of Idaho is virtually rural and working class. Does that sound familiar to a state? With its own weird mentality that draws a certain type. A big city attorney from out of the region should be leading this case. I don't have much hope for a fair trial. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that because juries generally don't like it if you import a big city attorney. I just, because
that creates the bias. They want someone that's familiar.
Yeah, so I don't know about that, but I'm sensitive to the fact that Idaho is a unique state. It's a very unique state, and we've actually been told that we have no business commenting on the case because we don't understand the West Coast, and I didn't buy that.
Well, one thing that I think that I mean, they say insular and clannish. I don't know if I'll necessarily align with those words, but I think what happens is that when you have these rural towns, you're not going to have very big like town, you're not going to have a big population. So what happens is that the people who are in that population, usually you'll know the people around you, usually things are very familiar. You're not and I don't know, it's almost like within your family. It's like your neighborhood almost becomes a family where everybody kind of is like, oh, that's so and so. And it is definitely different than the attitudes in bigger cities where people just kind of ignore everyone because you would never know who's living in your city, basically, is a big distinction.
Yeah, so I really took exception to the person that said, the West Coast is different and you have no, because, I've been to Washington State, I've been to Oregon, I spent some time in California. Growing up, I had family in Seattle and visited. And so, it is a different culture out West. It's a different culture, but the law is the law is the law. And I don't know if the person that told us that we have no right to comment about a West Coast case realized that when you go to law school, they don't teach you, oh, well, you're in Boston and our law in Boston is this and outside of 128, you can't practice because you don't know. No, you study because laws are different. You study principles and concepts. And then when you go to different jurisdictions, you find it that they might follow this principle, but then this principle carries more weight in another jurisdiction. So we study that stuff. So, anyhow, all right. So,
and I think I do want to say just quickly, I think Mark Federer was a good example of that, being from New York and going to Massachusetts. I think that, unfortunately, despite what people want to hear, I think in general, at least in the United States, there's common ground between professions and people's mindsets. Unfortunately, we're able to relate to other people even if they don't live in the same state.
Yeah.
As shameful as that is, because you can't believe that so and so would ever think so and so. But
Yeah, plus with the internet and things like YouTube, it's
Mhm.
it really had, whether we like it or not, it really has become a global community. So,
Exactly, yeah.
well,
Which even shows us, with the global community, shows us even more how similar we really are. All right, so number 2 from Bubbling Relics. I don't feel they have evidence enough for to make sense that he did this on his own. And I think that's probably going to be something that the jury struggles with. 4 people within 20 minutes is kind of crazy.
yeah, remember we did a couple of episodes focusing on this. One of them we collaborated with someone else who agreed. Remember we had, I forget whether it was 10 reasons, the top 10 reasons that it couldn't have been done by one person. And I pretty much agree with this, that I don't, we don't know all the evidence. I've said that before, but just based on what we do know, what has been put out there, I don't believe that one person did it. And I know commenters disagree with me, but just, the narrow timeline to unalive 4 people with the veracity that they did, and what we know is that the wounds were different from one victim to another. So yeah, I'm in the camp that I don't believe that one person did it. I think that's common sense. I think unless there is a lot of other evidence, I don't think a jury will buy it. Sorry.
And I do want to go back because probably at this point over a year ago, I got teased for making the comment. I don't know if I can even toast my piece of bread in 10 minutes. I literally every morning when I'm rushing out the door and maybe I'm getting distracted, but it's just every day I'm okay, I gotta leave within 20 minutes, we're good. And without fail, it's just something happens and you're 5 minutes over, da 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 da. It's just this is my house that I'm familiar with. If I want to go grab a bite to eat, use the restroom, and get everything done, before even leaving my own house that I'm super familiar with. Even if I'm fully dressed, it still takes 10 to 20 minutes to get out of the house, and you still might even be running a little bit late after that. So when you're going about your day, see what happens in 10 minutes, because I promise you 10 minutes disappears very quick. And I can't imagine being in a strange house in the middle of the dark and taking on multiple people. But
That's
like I
crazy.
said, we're not the one way or the other channel. We're just presenting people's
Not on this
opinions.
case, no.
Not on any case.
Oh, the last one's yours.
Oh gosh, for me, Kindred Spirit 635. The only logical reason I keep going back on the subject of why they allowed 1122 King Road to be torn down is that the main crime scene is that it wasn't the main crime scene. What is your thought on that possibility? I don't know. That it wasn't the main crime scene? I don't think so.
I would have
Uh,
thought there would have had to have been a lot more blood evidence outside of that place. So, of course, we don't know what I mean, they're driving around in U-Haul trucks with the evidence. So, and anything
mhm.
could have happened in that 8 hours. But yeah, I would find, I know that theory is out there, and I know people are going to comment down below about the frat boys and about a bunch of other stuff I can't even remember right now. But I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. That's my comment. We don't know.
Yeah, the fact that there's not even evidence right now, that's is already so much to be able to transport these bodies, especially considering the pictures we saw with the blood on the outside of the house that had poured through. I yeah, there's so little evidence right now. What are you going to do? Then that goes back to needing 2 people. You're going to carry someone on a stretcher to avoid cross contamination and DNA contact, dragging bodies. I'm just
Yeah,
making
I
myself
don't know.
nauseous thinking about it.
I don't know. Do we have time for a bonus that after we put together these slides, another bonus one came in that I thought was really interesting? Do we have
Yeah,
time?
let's take a look at that bonus.
After we put together those slides, this came in. Andrew, I just want to thank you for allowing opposing opinion on your channel. I have been blocked by YouTube lawyer content creators who I am not going to mention here. These grifters are capitalizing on the ignorance and insatiable appetite of the FKR fanatics that are currently watching their channels for everything pro Karen Reed. When valid opposing points of view are presented, these creators block the commenter to insulate their FKR fan base from seeing the opposing truth. When YouTube creators and he goes through it all, are pounced on by the FKR cult members who ratio negative comments and unsubscribe en masse, these grifter YouTubers and other social media content creators are part of the reason why Karen Reed has been so successful in manipulating tens of thousands of people. It is a sad comment on how the modern social media platforms can manipulate people and make them disbelieve their lying eyes. The only reason I brought it up is because, yes, I delete comments, but this is an example of I don't delete comments based on their content. If you don't agree with something I say, let me have it. I'm a big boy. I used to work in the media, and we heard it every day. People would call the manager and say, that Myers expletive deleted. So I can take it. But the only rules are, we will not allow you to call names. I'm a member of the Massachusetts Bar, and I will not let anybody on my channel call a sitting judge a name. I won't let people call members of the bar, other attorneys' names. Tell me why you feel that way. Tell me that you don't like an order because, and I did that in a previous episode. I told you exactly why I thought one of the orders was wrong. Tell me why you specifically don't like something that Mr. Brennan did or something that Mr. Thompson did. But we're not here to call people's names. A fifth grader in the schoolyard can call names. We're above that. And this is a legal channel. This isn't one of those, tunnels channels or frat boy channels. So, that's an example of many, many, many comments that I've allowed to go forward. They disagree with us. Say it professionally, say it amicably, say it in reasonable terms. But once you descend into calling people's names, especially a sitting judge and especially another attorney who I might know, we're better than that. You're better than that. Don't you think, Lainey, that I don't mind hearing from people that disagree with me, because sometimes people that disagree with us make us think a little bit. So I don't know how you feel about that, but
no, I definitely agree. I definitely think that we don't really care what you're saying in the comments, whether you believe she's guilty, whether you believe she's innocent. We say on this channel multiple times a day, we don't know whether she's guilty or innocent or Kohberger, and everybody's entitled to a presumption of innocence until proven guilty. So we just really share our knowledge based on the facts. So obviously people are going to come to their own conclusions based on what we present, but as long as you're not directly like insulting people, and so just try to be a little nice.
Yeah, you and I have actually disagreed on some stuff on air here, but you figure a way. And we did an episode with Alexis Room the other week, and I disagreed with a couple of things that she said, and she disagreed with a couple of things that I said. But we were amicable, and I still like her. I hope we have the opportunity to collaborate with her again. I agree with 99% of what she said. But if you disagree with somebody, that makes it more interesting. That you're not just sitting there like a bobblehead going, yup, yup, yup.
And I do want to say that I think even like Andrew brings up a good point. For a lot of people, it's different too when you're face to face with someone and having a conversation and disagreeing in person versus the internet. I think a lot of the times, especially like in the comment section down below, hi guys, sometimes when we disagree, we think the other person is so ridiculous and so unreasonable and da 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 da. But then when you're face to face with that person, you're like, wait, this is just like a regular person, and you can have an amicable conversation where you have like the tiny disagreements, and it doesn't have to be burst out into the insulting people. So I think just remember that when you're saying something, just assume that the person that like write things the way that you would want to read things about yourself. If you're talking about someone, you can read a comment that disagrees. All our half of our comments are like, yeah, I disagree with you guys, XYZ.
Right.
It's okay to disagree with people, but be respectful and mindful of that they're real people.
I mean, way back even in high school, we had a debate team, and the debate team learned, you don't call people this word or that word. I'm not even going to say it. There are intelligent ways to think of ways to tell the other side why you feel the way you feel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and why you think that their argument is weak. So this channel is above keyboard warriors. We're above that. If you want keyboard warriors, there's plenty of channels for you, but especially in the political channels. But
oh my gosh,
we think that our viewers are above all of that. So that's my closing thought. What's yours?
Well, my closing thought is that I really appreciate you guys. I've given you so many emojis to comment. I'm not going to give you any emojis, but I appreciate your comments, and I think generally our comment section is pretty clean and respectful, and so we thank you guys for not turning it into one of those cesspool of YouTubes, and for all the subscribers.
Lily got a lot of emojis. Lily got a lot of dog emojis. People liked Lily. So.
Yes, and thank you guys, everybody who watched that video and commented on Lily's birthday. And we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.
Whether you are in the grocery store, the gas station, or anywhere else, please remember to be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. And the same goes for our comment section. We want you to comment, but be nice, be kind, be positive if you can. And thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one.